from the waist down. You don't...
Hi everybody, I'm Christy and this is
Nancy.
We're from Tales of the Ravenous Reader, and we're starting a new YouTube channel series today, and we're not quite sure what we want to call it yet, but something along the lines of movies that should have been a book.
Yes.
Because there's quite a few movies coming out right now and through the Christmas season that we're like, oh my god, I want to read that book when you see the trailer, but we realized very shortly thereafter that there isn't a book. So we wanted to first of all come and see one and then talk about our reactions. So we're here today at our local movie theater having just watched
The Edge of 17.
The Edge of 17, and it stars
Hailee Steinfeld.
Yes, and Blake Jenner, who for those of us who have watched Glee will be familiar with him.
Very cute.
He's so adorable. And I was like, I feel like kind of weird having like a crush on him, but I think he's old enough. I think he's legal. I hope so, at least. And Kara Cedric, is that how do you say her name? Kira.
I think maybe Kira
As the mom in the film. And
she has good hair.
She does have good hair.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen the trailer, Woody Harrelson also plays kind of a curmudgeon-y educator.
Yes.
And he's got a really small but very integral role. So we thought we'd share our initial reactions. We'll first read a synopsis and then share our initial reactions. So everyone knows that growing up is hard and life is no easier for high school's junior Nadine, who is already at peak awkwardness when her all-star brother Darian starts dating her best friend Krista.
Yes.
Totally sounds like a book, right? All at once Nadine feels more alone than ever until the unexpected friendship of a thoughtful boy gives her a glimmer of hope that things might not be so terrible at all. All right, Nancy, tell us what your initial reactions are. We literally just walked out.
I loved it. I thought it was not quite what I expected. I thought it was going to be something slightly a bit more
sad,
humorous, actually, but it had its moments, and it's not saying that it wasn't, that it wasn't like, had a little bit, it's laughter and everything in there, but it had a nice serious tone that was well done. And yeah, so that's what I really enjoyed about it, that it was kind of like you got a little bit of everything in this story, and I really enjoyed it. There were quite moments that I could kind of relate to and go back to, that age and just remember those feelings of being the utter loneliness, and that someone, that no one could understand me, that I was the only one that was going through those issues, and it was easy to kind of wallow in that and think that I was that that special cupcake that had those issues. But it was good to see it, for me.
Yeah, I have to agree that it was really great. I guess you just never really know what to expect from movies, and I don't go to a lot of movies. Unless it's based on a book or a comic book, you're probably not going to find me at it. But we really wanted to see this one, and it was lighthearted but serious. Like the issues were serious, but there was a lot of humor. We laughed a lot. Woody Harrelson was hilarious. So was Hailee Steinfeld. She was hilarious. I mean, the whole thing was hilarious, but there was a lot of serious parts in it. It was actually, I just kind of feel like it was
good
perfect.
balance.
Yeah.
There's a good balance going on there.
Yeah. So who was your favorite character?
The love interest, I would say. The unexpected love interest, because I don't think that that's what she was looking for, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it, so it was even a mystery to her that what she was going through, and trying to find somebody that she had something in common with. She realized that he was a nice guy, but she wasn't that attracted to him.
Which is a mistake.
But
he was freaking adorable.
He was so adorable. So awkward in his own skin.
It was so awkward. It was so good.
Everything, but their interactions together were so genuine and so sweet, and yet she, it's like with anything else, there was something else that she had her mind on, so she quite couldn't focus on that guy yet, but she knew there was something about him, so that she was drawn to him, but it wasn't quite that guy that she was looking forward to yet.
He was so patient. I just really appreciated the fact that he was just rolling with the punches, and I was ready to give up for him. I was ready to be like, move on, I'm right here. Just kidding. It was so cute. It was so cute. I loved him too, but I loved her best friend, because I feel like girls in young adult movies or teen movies are always portrayed as having like major drama and just like, yeah, exactly, total Mean Girls. And her best friend was compassionate and understanding, and she was like, without actually like saying it, she was like, I'm here for you. And when it actually, there was a time for them to actually have a moment, you know, like obviously like in the synopsis, brother who is like the all-star goody mommy's boy, like, you know, top of the game, best friend, had been her best friend since childhood, starts dating him. You can imagine that there's going to be some turmoil and angst, and rather than the movie spending all their time with like two mean girls like getting back at each other, it focused on her just stepping back and letting her do her thing, and then saying like without saying it, just kind of being like, I'm here. And that was really nice to see teenage emotions and relationships portrayed intensely but fairly, because I feel like teenagers get this like, oh my god rap, when they really do have more than that going on.
So that was really well done between them. Because I thought she was kind and she was very understanding. They'd been friends for so long, and you know, when you got that kind of like information over somebody, you always know that can always come back to sort of like haunt you. And there was a slight moment, but nothing that you would say like, oh no, I could never want to speak with that person again. So I think everything was done quite well.
What was your favorite part? I'm gonna go first. The Dickhead song, and that will make sense when you. I took notes during the movie so that we forget things. She's all like this. I know, I'm all texting on and I'm all nobody's surprised by this. The Dickhead song, which if nothing else during the film, you have to find that scene.
The Dickhead song, yes, that is good. But I think I really like the ending. I like that. I like the ending. I like the way that kind of all like worked out with that situation. Sorry if that's a little spoilery there, but
there was a lot of resolution, which I love. Not just a love interest resolution, but the family. There was some family closure. It's not perfect, obviously, because you can't undo 17 years of drama in a family. But there was resolution and closure, and you
got a sense of hope that things were going towards a new direction. The scene with her mom and the phone when she was trying to...
Oh my gosh, yes.
Trying to, like, figure out what to say, and she was, like, writing stuff, and then she, like, erase, and went back, and then erase, and then she realized, okay, that maybe everything's going to be fine. I just have to trust.
That decision of how far do you go in lecturing your kid, and you just accept it, right? Like where do you turn the corner? And I felt like that was the turning the corner moment for her, because she really could have just continued on that digging deep, like, oh, I can't believe you did this to me pathway. And she was like, you know what, I'm just gonna let it go, which is probably good for her own mom's mental health. Like it was probably good for her too. So here's a difficult question. I was thinking about this the whole time through the movie. If you were to say the books that are similar, what books would you pick? I was like trying to think of like books that have arcs with siblings growing, with families growing together. I mean, maybe in a different sense, totally not the same subject matter, but like Femin versus the Homo Sapien Agenda. There's movement within friends, there's movement within love interest, there's movement within family within that book.
That sounds like the perfect one. And so I'm trying to think.
I know, I'm like, what
stuff could be really perfect, but I'm trying to think what could be something that has a lot of growth in there, that you know, there's some strife with friendship, but then they, you know, and with family, but then things all tend to work out. I'm trying to think about those, and I can't believe that I can't even.
All right, somebody needs to write it. That's what we're saying. Somebody needs to write a book where the teenage heroine or hero, whoever she is, the protagonist in the book, comes, you know, has this self-actualization of like, well, crap, I'm not perfect, and the world's not out to get me, and comes out on the other side, and it feels genuine, right? Because it can't feel disingenuine. It can't feel like she had this life-changing experience, and now all of a sudden she's perfect and everything's fine. Because that's not realistic at all.
So that's what I really like, the dialogue within the situation, those moments. There was like a heartbreaking moment when she experiences this great loss to her. There was an ultimatum that came to pass, and it was clear that it did not go on her way, and the fact that she was like walking through the school and that sense of being surrounded by all these people and yet feeling utterly alone. I think that was done so well, and you could just feel that emotion just like coming out of you, where everybody has that that feeling and that awkwardness, that party scene, and she's there,
Oh my
like
gosh,
again, another
party
one,
scene.
and she's trying to figure out, like, and she realizes that.
Where you're like,
you know,
you're like, where's the cat in the scene so she could go find the cat to hang out with? I was waiting for it to happen. That's what I was waiting for.
That girl was trying to find the kids. Where the kids?
Yeah,
Where the
exactly.
kids?
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. So.
I have to say, one thing that really surprised me was the R rating on this film. I know one of the things I read online that was really surprising for some people was the fact that this is a movie called The Edge of 17, about a teenage girl, and it's rated R. And I was like, what possibly could be in this movie that's rated R? And you know what, I'm gonna be really transparent and frank. It actually irritates me that they rated this movie R, because there's virtually no violence, not 1 second of violence, which to me is kind of the only really cop out. There's no nudity. There's no heavy sex scenes. There's a lot of cursing. But I feel like it's unfair of us to assume that teenagers don't curse, and that they don't have sex, and that they don't talk openly about sex. Yeah. So I'm actually really disappointed. And for any parents out there that are concerned about the R rating, toss it off the table, because it is so not true to what the story actually is.
No, there's like a moment where you might think that something could go horribly south.
Yes.
And it did have to. I looked over at her. I'm going, if this goes this direction, I am not cool with this at all. But it doesn't. It totally doesn't. But
it explores it though, to a certain extent. There's a moment that really explores a very visceral teenage experience, especially nowadays, that doesn't turn dark.
Yeah.
Because the movie, I really did not go dark. It went deep, but not dark.
Not dark, yeah. You could see, and you could understand why those decisions were made at that time, and what was going on, and why she went that way, because you would totally think, no, don't do that, that's wrong. But considering what she was going through and those emotions at that moment, I could understand totally why she would do it, even though you know.
It's one of those moments where, as an adult, if you had been told as a teenager by an adult to not do something, that you would have been like, I'm a teenager and I know everything. And so I really appreciate that the adults kind of let her screw up. The mom didn't want to let her screw up, but the other adults in her life kind of let her screw up.
Yeah, it is.
So I really appreciate that. Well, you have to tell us in the comments if you're planning on seeing The Edge of 17, and what you enjoyed about it when you eventually go.
Let us know. We want to know.
Yeah, we love talking to people about the things that we see. And I know we're also planning on seeing, I'm planning on seeing Passengers, which should have been a book for sure. And we actually have a blog post coming up closer to the release date about books that we associate with the types of things you see in the trailer. And what else? What else are we seeing? The one with Asa Butterfield, The Space Between Us. That's what it is. The Space Between Us. Every time I watch that trailer, I'm like, that is totally a book. It has to be. And there are several books titled The Space Between Us, but not what the movie is based on. So we'll definitely be seeing those.
And let me see what's coming up. Before I Fall comes out next year.
Oh my gosh. We are going to film, Nancy has not watched the Before I Fall.
One of my favorite contemporary novels. I'm not a huge contemporary fan, but that was one of my favorite books, and that it just utterly stuck, all the feels with it, and it stuck with me all these years, and I still.
She has not watched the trailer yet.
And I have no idea.
It just came out this week, so it's not like it's super late, but I'm actually going to film her reaction first, viscerally as she watches it, and then afterwards, so that'll be coming up soon too.
So if you see me utter a mess, please forgive me.
She's going to be a mess. I've watched the trailer. It's going to be pretty bad. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.